All right, it's recording.
Hi, team. I'm Brady Ellis with Plexus, and I welcome everyone to the training tonight. And if you can't watch it tonight, then hopefully we'll have it syndicated or replayed somehow, even through a video. I'm at home, very comfortable, very relaxed. So if I mess up, say and talk to you, hear stuff in the background, just understand that's how Plexus builds, and we're all people, and we all have families, and we all have work, and that's just part of life. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm starting a training tonight on something called 8 Pillars of Success. And at the Plexus convention, Troy Dooley actually does this training, but it's based off of a great series of training and management training. But I'll start out with just going right into it. Most importantly, there's a couple things that you want to start out with. That doesn't have to do with the pillars of success, but most importantly, when someone's looking at you to look at multi-level marketing and training and how you develop a business, the number one thing that they're going to need to hear from you and what they believe in you is trust. If you can't build trust in someone, then they're not going to spend time listening to you and or believing in what you have to say. So a foundation, and I say that because the pillars of success is based on the Roman pillars, and they stand the test of time. The roofs are gone, everything like that, but the pillars are still there. They're based on great foundations, and I believe integrity and trust is the two biggest foundation issues that you can have to make sure that you live your life by. And so you start out with trust, and you make sure that you look at them in the eye, you talk to them, and you make sure that they know that they can trust you from day one. And that's the basic building blocks of any business, much less a personal life. So we'll jump right into it. On the 8 Pillars of Success, due to time tonight, I'm going to run 4 of them. So we'll start out with the first one, clarity. And I don't have a slideshow. I'm just going to say the words. So if you take notes, grab a pen, and because I am going to give you some homework tonight. But you start out with clarity. Clarity is what it does is it's a pillar that shows stability. And stability is very important when someone's asking you a question. They're inquisitive. They're ready to find out information. That's your biggest step when you're talking about building a business, especially with Plexus. If they care about your business enough already, or if they're inquiring enough already to ask a question, then you need to make sure that you come across with a clear answer. You need to make sure that it's from the heart and that you know your answer and you know your product. Clarity comes from knowing what you're talking about and why. But I can't say this with enough emphasis, is don't guess. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. Tell them you will go get the answer. And very importantly, make sure and go get that answer. Make sure and follow up. Make sure and follow some of the other trainings they talk about with taking your time to follow up with your customers and do that. But don't guess. If you guess, they're going to see right through it. They need to trust you in the beginning. So they already have your trust. Otherwise, they wouldn't be asking you questions. Follow up with it and follow up with them and know that sorry, that text message interrupted me. But don't guess. So know your answers and make sure and follow up with them and get them the answer. They want to know that your answer is from their heart and also that it's true. One of the things with clarity is when you have clarity in your life and your business, that's going to trickle down into not only your team, but also it's going to trickle down into the customers when they ask you questions. And I say that because you start out your stability or your clarity by knowing why you're in this business. Why are you doing this? Why are you here every day? Why are you staying up at 9:15 at night and watching a video or doing training? We're here because we're building a better tomorrow. And what that starts with is know your why. And what that means, if you haven't listened to some of the other training, is that your why means I call it the elevator speech. If you stepped into an elevator and you had 30 seconds to write up a couple stories with someone else, what would you, if they ask you what you did or why you have a Plexus shirt on, is what would you say in 30 seconds? And if you can say that with a kindness and a trueness and a clarity and a stability in what you're saying and know and believe it, that's the first thing you need to know. Is part of that, what you do is why. And what sells this business is the heart. I've been to meetings and all over the place, and the stories is what makes people get committed to this. They want to know that it's true, that people are getting results, and that it's changing people's lives and people can see it and feel it. I'm not saying sell on feeling and sell on emotion, but it makes a big difference to get people's trust and to build that stability and clarity. And I say that because you want to be clear and precise on your why. Why are you doing this, and why are you making Plexus a reason every day? And it could be anything. It could be, for me, it's because my mother is very ill, and she's a diabetic, and Plexus changed her world on stabilizing her diabetes, and she's still here. So it's made a difference in my personal relationship, there, and someone related to me. I'm sorry, my mom. So clear, precise, know your why and why you're doing it. So I'm going to assign your first asterisk with your pen. Write a little asterisk and put your homework assignment number 1. And that is, make your why statement. It could be your daughter, which mine's 90% of my why is my daughter, along with my mom. But know your why. Get it written down and put it in writing and put it somewhere where you see it every single day. And then when someone asks you, you can have a why, and you also have a what you're doing, and know your product, and know what you're selling, and that's part of your why. Have clear expectations to your team. And I say that because as you start building, the first thing you do is the power of 3. If you're new, you'll learn what that is. But the team members that are already here know that. If you have clear expectations, know what you expect out of your team, but also know what you expect out of yourself. With clarity, and that's what we talk about. The first pillar of success, of the 8 pillars of success, is that clarity means knowing exactly what you do every day, knowing exactly what your team members are responsible to do every day, and how you can build them. And you build them with love and commitment and compassion. We'll get there too on a couple of the other pillars. Are you clear on your daily responsibilities? So that's another thing that's a part of your homework, is know your why statement and know what your daily responsibilities are. It might be follow up with 5 people today. Spend your 15 minutes of Plexus day on what you're doing and how you're doing it, who you're communicating with. So know what your daily responsibilities are for yourself, and be very clear on them and have them written down. I'll give you a quick story on clarity. Is that I used to sell door-to-door vacuum cleaners for a company called Kirby, which it's no surprise they're the largest company in the world that sells door-to-door when it comes to vacuum cleaners. But what happens when you're talking about clarity and your why behind it is you have this, I'm a salesman, and I sell door to door, and I make phone calls, and I set up appointments. And what happens is you say you're going to do it, but the next morning you wake up and you're like, oh, let me go take the trash out. Let me take a shower. Let me call my friends and make sure they're okay. And you ask your honey if there's anything to do. You find all these other excuses of why not to do what you need to do to build your business. And so I say that because Dave Ramsey online always says, if you worked for You Incorporated, would you fire you? And that's such a powerful statement, is that if you were waking up every single day, and with Plexus, you can run it in 15 to 30 minutes, and do it every day, but don't procrastinate. Know exactly what you want to do. And I say that, have it written down, and know your why, and also know your daily responsibilities, and be clear and precise, because that helps you be direct. And I say that because back to the Kirby plan or story, you can wake up and talk about it all you want and not go do it and procrastinate and have reasons why you're not going knocking on doors or calling and going and meeting people. And it relates back to Plexus the same way. But I wasn't doing it at all. I was, you have your procrastination reasons why. But when I finally committed, and I became the top salesman in a month with Kirby, because you take that time and you take that commitment to do exactly what you say you're going to do. So make your plan and work your plan. Okay, and so with that, so you have your 2 homeworks. You have your first one with clarity of make your why statement, and the second one is know your daily responsibilities. And if you have a team already, know what their daily responsibilities are and have them written, and remind them what their responsibilities are with compassion. With the 8 pillars of success, the second one is compassion. And by the way, I'll stop at the end for questions. So if you do have questions, hold them till the end, because I'm just going to go right through it. And then that way, if we have questions at the end, we can, because we're recording this. The second pillar is compassion. And this is from Troy Dooley at the training class or at Plexus Convention. So I can't give credit to who it came from, but I got it from him. People put faith in those who care beyond themselves. And he goes about saying, President Roosevelt put in a captain or a manager or I can't remember it quite all the way, but he put someone in command that he did not like, but it was the right guy for the right job at the right time. And I say that because people put your faith in those who care beyond themselves. And what that means is when you're talking about compassion, you have to take your heart out of it and set it to the side. And you have to say, okay, I believe I'm going to run Plexus, and I'm going to do it with compassion. And what that means is when you're talking to to a potential client or a potential business partner, even if it's just someone buying a product or if it's someone that's going to be part of your business, you have to put faith in them. And what I mean by that is when you're asking them a question, you have to listen and care about what they say, even if you don't agree with them or if you don't see from their perspective. You pay attention to what they need out of their life. So you see a white line in your down line and you have to go, okay, how am I going to love on this person with compassion to make sure that they care about your future? You care about their future, because if you just come at them and attack them like they're a business point for you, they're going to fade off to the wayside. So what's most important is that you know where your business is going and how you're going to compassionately care about them on building their business. Now, when you're talking directly to a potential customer, compassion is important. They need to know that you care about their feelings, you care about what they're saying, and this goes with anything you're doing or saying in relationships. But when you're listening to them, are you listening to them with the intent to learn, or are you listening to them with the intention of learning something from them? And that's really, really important, because in any relationship, including this business, if you're listening to learn something from them, you're going to know what their hot points are. You're going to know what's important to them, and you're going to know as you go on down the line what their goals and dreams are. You're going to be able to remind them about what their dreams are to help them build their business, because if you don't listen in the beginning, you're not going to be able to help them in the future. So is your business, now I have a question for you. Is your business growing because of, is your business not growing because of you? And what I mean by that is are you letting your lack of compassion get in the way of building your business grow? Are you listening to your customers with the compassion and truly trying to meet their needs? Or are they just a number or a pin or an upgrade or an emerald color or ruby color to you? If they are, your business will fail. You have to know that this business is built on relationships. And if you make sure that you care about what they say and do, it'll help your business grow tremendously. Compassion builds strength. It builds down through your team. If you build through your team and teach them that to build on compassion, then when someone needs help, it helps you build the team by, like Melanie, being able to step down 2 layers below me and care about it enough that she may be only making pennies on it, but what it means is it makes the team build better by knowing that you can grow together with compassion. Listen to what they say and care about what they say. They will respect it, and if they leave the team and they white line, they'll come back if you show them compassion and love, because they know, and that you never know what's in someone else's life or what's happening in their life. So digress. So remember, most importantly, you don't know what's happening or what's going through their life when you're talking to them about getting a customer or a potential new customer. You don't know what's happening in their life or why they're where they're at. Unless you listen to them, and hopefully they'll give you some insight on that. And most importantly, in your down team, you don't know what's happening with their life other than how much you know about them. So the more you talk and the more you listen, the more you'll know what's happening. And something, a side note, Plexus worldwide, 70% of the money made in this business is made by women. Okay, us 30% of us are guys. We talk about it. Okay, that's it. We just talk. But the women are making the money. And I say that because this is a compassion-built business. This is a love-built business. This is a story truly built business. You don't see 7 million men running out and buying the latest romance novel. It's the women are buying them because they listen and they share compassion and they care about what other people think and feel. So when you go to these meetings and you see people stand up and talk about how it's physically changed their life, and I can tell you one of the things I've seen in some of the meetings I go to, it's just someone that's not only changed their life, something physical or lost some weight, but also they found a friend in Plexus. There's people that find true lifelong friends in this business, and they hold on to them, and that compassion is what does it. So guys, if you're listening, learn from the women. Shut up and listen, because the 70% of the money made in this business is from women, because they care and they listen more than we do. Okay. Didn't have any homework from compassion other than guys listen. The third pillar is character. And 90% of who you are is what 90% of who you are is what you are when no one else sees it and no one else is around to watch. And I say that, I always tell my daughter this all the time, is that and there's a country and western song that says, is who are you when no one's listening, or who are you when no one's watching? You got to do what's right no matter what. My company logo on the side of my door says doing it right with integrity, because your character is the most important part about your world, you have to know that when no one else is watching, are you going to still do it right? Are you building plexus by hurrying up and adding on some a white line, by adding on some money to just be able to ruby up or pin up? It catches you. Do it the right way from the beginning, and your team will see that. And most importantly, in this business, when you start from the bottom and you work your way up and you build with compassion and character, when you build your business with character, you'll see that the stability, when the trouble times happens, that character is what people fall back on. They know that they believe in you and they trust you from the beginning. You're compassionate with them, so they know that they can trust your character. If you build your business on character and integrity, you'll see the ramifications of that throughout the business, and as you start making a lot of money and a lot of friends and a lot of results from the product. Here's another question for you for your notes is, what do you want to build with your character? Are you building a business based out of character, or are you just going as fast as you can to ring a bell saying I have a certain color on my pen, on my chest? That's not it. We're here to help people. We're here to care about people, and we're here to show them that we're going to do it right from the beginning. And think about this. If you had to think about anyone that you admire, think about that for a second. Anybody that you admire in your life, whether it's a teacher, if you're still a student, if it's a parent, if you admire, the first question that comes to your mind, or I would ask you, is when you think about that person, what makes you say, wow, about that person? When you truly think about that and picture that in your head. So, and when you say that, what stands out about them? Is it that they can run faster than you, or is it a character trait? More than likely, it's a character trait. When you truly think about the person that makes you say wow the most, it's going to be a character trait. It's going to be something that shows that they're stable, that they care about you, and that their character and their dignity and their integrity is intact. And I say that because build your business from the beginning with all those attributes, and your family will hugely reap the rewards in the future from that. You have to know yourself inside and out. You have to be who you are on the inside and also on the outside. So whoever you are on the inside, if you've built that with integrity and trust and dignity and character every day, that eludes from you. And when people meet you, you're talking about the product and you're in a hyped up mood. But if it's fake, this isn't the business where you can fake it to make it. It's not. Because if you're faking it to make it, they're going to read right through you, and they're going to go on, and you're going to wonder, wow, I talked to 12 people today and nobody answered me. You have to go from the heart and make sure you're talking from the heart, that it's real. And by the way, most importantly, your team will know. If you're faking it to make it with your team, they'll read right through it. And you see it time and time again with relationship built businesses, that if you don't build it with integrity and character and know that you're talking from the heart, it'll bleed right through into your team and it'll scatter. So when they see true character, they'll believe it. What is character to you? Here's another homework assignment. What is character to you? What builds it? If character is built the right way and through coming from a heart of integrity, even through the adversity, through the really tough times, is where the character will shine through, and that's where your family will benefit the most. So write down your top 5 values of what character is. And tonight, so another homework assignment is write down your 5 values in your life. And I can't say this enough, is live by them. If your top 5 values are important to you, they need to be important to you every day, and don't let them change. Let it be character, whatever yours are, but make sure that those 5 values are followed every single day, and your business will multiply tremendously. Just don't falter from your 5 values. Plain and simple, never falter from it. Stay true to those 5 values. And build your character. And if you haven't done it, if you're starting from a world that today's today, start today. You know, we're a society, and we're a generation, and we're not only that, we're God-given, built to where we have a choice to change every day. So if today's your first day and you've lived a life with no character, start it today. It's just like religion. You can accept God that night, and your whole world's different the next day. So I say build your character, start today if you haven't in the past. And nobody cares about your past. People care about, do you care about me today, and are you going to care about me tomorrow? Number 4, because of time, I'm going to end with number 4 tonight. And after that, we'll have some questions in time. The number 4 pillar of success is competency. Hi, Kay. Welcome to the team. Kay, we're going over, because we had someone join us just now, we're going over the 8 pillars of success from the Plexus Convention, and we've already covered clarity, compassion, and character, and now we're on number 4, which is competency. So we are recording it, so you can go back online and laugh at how many times I say But competency, again, I'm going to use the word I used earlier, is this is not a fake it till you make it. You have to know, you have to be competent in what you're talking about. Otherwise, they'll read right through it. Watch what's going on and watch what's going on around you. You have to know your product. Hang on just a second. What happened with me, I'll show you a quick side note. I started on the product and I really didn't see any results. I started thinking, wow, why am I, and bear with me here if you knew, but I didn't see much results. I stay in pretty good shape. I looked at it and I didn't see much results right at first. I saw great results with my mom and I was thinking, wow, what's happening to me? So with competency, I had to go, wait a minute, maybe it is me. It's not the product, because you log online and there's thousands of results of everyone getting positive results. I've seen Larissa lose weight. I've seen Melanie lose weight. And I'm like, wow, why am I seeing this? So I had to stop and take a step back and go, well, if it's not the product, because it's helping a whole lot of people, it's not the product, it's me. So I started paying attention to this. So the first thing I thought is, here's my day. I got the Plexus pink drink. I'm supposed to be drinking that. But hey, let's stop and wait until after I get my Starbucks coffee. And it's not just the normal coffee. It's the coffee with the creamer in it and the sugar, and it's iced because I like a mocha frappuccino with drizzle. And then after that, I ate a lunch that was French fries and a hamburger. And you look up and you go, why isn't this Plexus working? And you're upset. And you're like, why isn't this product working? Well, hello, here's a big, huge mirror. And you say that, and I say that because when you talk about what competency is, and is the product competent? Now, we're talking about competency in you, but we're talking about the competency in the product as well. And the product shows the results, but sometimes you have to look in the mirror when something's not working and you say, well, maybe it's not working because of me. And that's what happened with me. I was running through McDonald's or Jack in the Box or whatever for lunch, and then wondering why the Plexus wasn't knocking the weight off. So when I finally started doing that and saying, okay, I'm not going to pull into Marble Slab at 9:15 and grab some ice cream, and because I knew where it was going to go, and then the next morning wonder why. Yes, that was for you. But so I had to realize that, oops, it's me, and really it is. So you stop, and I did that, and I rewound, and I got back on the product, and I did it right, and I quit with the French fries and the Starbucks coffees and the Marble Slabs, and then I started seeing results, and I've seen 15, 20 pounds change over the life of Plexus so far. So you got to know the product, and you got to know the business with competency. You have to be competent, and what that means is being able to support and know the product, being able to support and know management skills for the teams you have. We're all new at this. Nobody's a 7 pillars trainer standing up on stage talking. This is my home, and you can be this way soon. I just have the knack ability to talk, and or maybe that's a negative. But one of the things you talk about with competency is you have to have a coach. Really importantly, if you there's a difference between a coach and a mentor. A mentor is someone that you can learn from and you can go through there. But a coach is someone that'll kick you in your bottom. They'll kick you right in your bottom and make you go and point you in the right direction. So a coach says, "Atta boy," pat you on the back when you do good. But more importantly, they're able to, I say, kick you in the bottom and make sure that you point you in the right direction and say, no, you did it this way when you should have done it this way. And that's where, from a team and from a management perspective, I don't want to call it tough love, but that's the closest I can think is we're team. We're here to love on you and make sure that we're available for you. But also that means that in the beginning, I always ask my newest members or team is I say, I'm investing in you, but I'm asking for in a return that you'll give me the responsibility or the capability of just the permission to ask. I'm not saying jump on them and scream and hollering at them, and that's as we back up and we look at compassion, that's not how you do it. But if I'm asking you for in the very beginning of the relationship for the permission to kick you in the butt. You know what I'm saying? And what that means is if you have someone on the team, and all that means is even if it's just simply a question, how are you doing? What's happened? Right before this meeting, Melanie asked me about something that is, how are you doing? What can I do to help? And it's sometimes just the question or just asking someone is enough to point them back in the direction and say, okay, go back to first base before you go to second. And so what I mean by that is no, if you don't have a coach, make sure and get a coach and give someone in your life in the Plexus world, give them permission to be your coach. And I mean that by sometimes you look in your downline and you'll see someone not doing anything or not showing any kind of action, and they don't have a coach and they don't have anyone that's holding them accountable. And at church we call it accountability partners, as some of you may or may not know what that is. You're giving someone else the permission to get into your life. And so have a coach, and with competency, you have to be competent, but you also have to be willing to accept someone asking you and someone saying, hey, what happened? Why are you doing this? What can we do different? But when you say that, and I say that, so in advance, ask for a coach, ask for an accountability partner, build a coach between you and them. But part of that relationship and part of that trust and part of that compassion is when they do talk to you, you have to be receptive of it. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to learn, and you have to be willing to get your bottom spanked. And I say that with utmost respect, but if they come to you and say, hey, I'm here to help you because you asked me to help in the beginning. So be prepared for that. Be someone's coach. And I say that because not only are you asking it from above you, the better you become a coach for someone else, the better you'll learn this business, and the more it'll be, and the easier it becomes to be able to talk to someone else. I can tell you, I started this way back in college when we had a professor that couldn't speak English very well, and it was a calculus teacher. And I literally started teaching it on the sideboard back. I know I'm old, but we used to have chalkboards. But I'd literally start teaching the class on the sideboard on the chalkboard, and he was teaching it in the front. And you'd see like maybe 10, 12 days into the classroom, half the class was turned sideways looking at me while he's coaching it in what he thought was English. But I tell you what it did make me do. It made me really good at it. And it made me really good at what I was teaching, because I had to teach myself even more, because I didn't want to be teaching something that was false. And that goes back to the very beginning. Know your product, be competent in your product, because when you tell someone, they trust you and they're going to go tell 12 people, and it expands like crazy. So make sure you're telling the right information. Make sure you're telling the right advice. That way they're extending that same thing to whoever they know that you may not even know. Let's see. That's what I had for competency. Before I go on to number 5, I'm going to end that for tonight here. So I'm going to open up for suggestions or questions. Does anybody have any questions here now? Hi, Kay.
Hi, how are you, Brady?
Great. Welcome to our conversation.
Well, I just love conversations.
Right? Who doesn't?
Don't I, Melanie?
And by the way, we talked about that earlier. The second pillar is compassion, and we talked about that, where if you don't. I think that's why you're a bright and shining star, and I say that because when people see you in a room, your aura wakes up the room, and you're just smiling. And I've seen you at a few different meetings, and I say that because when you have that certain aura, people look at you and go, wonder what she's doing, And
I wonder what she's drinking.
Yeah, what is she smoking? What is she drinking? So and she's drinking, and you're like, what is that?
What pills is she on?
So when you have that natural aura about yourself, and when you build your life with clarity and compassion and competency and these pillars, if it's natural, it eludes from you when you're out in public. And so it makes it even easier to approach someone, because none of us knew how to approach someone. We all had to learn. And so
right.
That's important about compassion. And I see that in you.
My dad helped me with that personality trait.
I'm trying to teach mine. She's watching.
Well, the way they learn is by watching you too.
Right. We had someone else just log on as Jenna Shelley. We're complete with the 4 of the 8 pillars. Did I say her name right? Jenna
Shelley's been
yes,
off for a little
Jenna.
while.
Okay. I just saw her name pop up. I only see 4 at a time, so if more than that's on, it might be there's an arrow. So I don't know. I have no idea.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Okay,
yes.
Awesome.
There you go.
We can Hi, Jenna.
Hi.
And then we have
It's the first time I've actually had a microphone.
And we have SM2350. I don't know who that is.
Jenna's
Sounds like a loaded gun.
Jenna was our top PV on our team last month.
Whoa, go Jenna.
I think she signed 10 ambassadors. Is that right, Jenna? Last month you signed 10?
Yes.
She's on
Yes,
her way.
ma'am. I'm working on my next 10. I'm getting there. It's a little slow this month, but I had a major boom in potential whenever I did my game. So I'm hoping that I have a few sign up the end of this week.
So Jenna, if I could give you any point, I can tell you already you're more successful than I have been in this business, but that's only because of me. and I can say that. So whatever you're doing, see if you can put it in a can, if you can stick it in something and let someone else drink it. And I say that because if there's any way that you can share what you're doing or saying, please do that, because we're all starting from scratch as well. And there's other people that have no idea how to start this. They have a little bit in them that says, I want to do this and how. So people that are that successful really care about what you're doing and how you're doing it. I know a little bit about your story, but if you want to throw it out there, I know about your story, but some people that are listening aren't. So why don't you tell us what you're doing or where you came from?
Sure. I think it helped out a lot. I actually was in direct marketing when I did Premier Jewelry. It's actually based out of Austin, Texas. It's a Christian-based jewelry company, and you do like a lot of parties, kind of like 31 and Pampered Chef. And I did that the first year that my little one was born. And I think being able to just jump back in my direct marketing shoes helped out a lot, but being in that direct contact and actually having to do group meetings actually made it easier for me to do this on Facebook and, approach people a lot easier than what it would be for like newbies if they've never done it before. But having a testimony just to put yourself out there, it gives people this confidence that I've been there. That's the old me. I'm so glad I can actually tell you where I've been and where I've come from. And a lot of my testimony is, strictly Plexus was a prayer answered. Not just for me personally, but for my family. And it's just been the biggest thing that's happened to us in such a huge way. I mean, I can't really put it into words how much Plexus has been a blessing for us. But now that my company has been to be able to progress and grow, I've got people now that come to me and tell me, you have no idea how much better I feel, and thank you so much for introducing it to me, and I've been praying about something, and just little things like that. It warms my heart knowing not only was that a prayer for me or a blessing for me, but I've been able to be a blessing for someone else to tell them about it, that they've been praying about it. And I get the biggest smile when I see my customers and I ask them, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm feeling a lot better. My energy's better. I've lost a little bit of weight. My lab results are coming back awesome. I think it gives me a confidence to actually go up to more people than what it did at the very beginning, because I had to get my direct marketing shoes back on, and that was a big step for me.
Sure. And by the way, have you been on since we started with the Pillars of Success tonight?
Actually, I got in about 20 minutes late.
That's okay.
My Zoom app, I had to re-download it.
There you go. Well, out of the Pillars of Success, the first one was the clarity. The ones we went over tonight was clarity, compassion, character, and competency. And one of the things that, from your experience in multi-level marketing and those that are listening is compassion, I believe, is one of the most important, especially in this business. I said earlier that 70% of the money that's made in this company is through women because they listen. And guys, all we want to do is talk. So if you're listening to learn rather than listen, if you're listening to learn instead of listening for your turn to talk, it makes such a huge difference. And I tell you, I'm almost 40 now, and I wish I would have learned that trait a lot earlier. It probably would have helped in some other things in my life. But building relationships now is based on communication and based on compassion. And if you can learn to listen with the intent to learn rather than listening with the intent to talk, is a huge difference. And I hear it right out of your voice. I don't even know you, but it looks like you're being very successful, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Does anyone else have anything, or do you have anything else?
Let's see who else is on tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey.
I'm Belinda Lindahl. I'm the SMT 350.
Okay.
Hello, Belinda.
Belinda, we're so glad to have you on tonight.
I've been taking Plexus since June of 18, and I've been weighing and measuring and all that too much. Well, I haven't measured in about 30 days. I measured my waist, and I lost 2 inches on my waist.
Wow.
I haven't even been trying to diet. I took Plexus because of my health. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I tell you what, I got the 3-day trial pack, and the second day I was like, woohoo, this is for me.
So glad to have
I love it. And I only have one ambassador, but I got a slow start. But I'm having technical difficulties, like, why am I SMT 350 and everybody else has a name? I know that's my tablet's name probably, but
Oh my goodness.
how do I get my name on there?
Well, you know what? We will. I have no idea, but I will do this. I will find out how. And because I don't know why mine says Brady. When it first, I know when you log on, the first thing it says when a meeting is it asks you for your name and you type it in. And if you don't type in anything, it automatically uses your computer name. So on the next meeting when you join, I believe Melanie, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the next time when you join in, it's going to pop up a screen. Instead of just hitting enter, you'll see SMT 350 on there, and you just type your first name or whatever you want it to show, and you can put Big Pop on there. I don't care, but that's what's going to show up. Whatever. Okay.
I'll try. I'll do that then. That's probably what it
And
is.
hey, that's some of your homework. The next time we log on, we'll see if your name changes.
It is. I'm going to get down on the homework. I've been slack on my homework.
And we're all going to look, Belinda.
Okay.
Brady, when do you want